right, so Nick, let's get you started, and you can talk about your deals and give us your background. I'm going to spotlight you for everyone, and you could
All right.
you could introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. My name's Nick, and a little background. I work for a fire department. I am newer in real estate investing. I flipped 2 houses last year and then purchased my first facility last year as well. So I'm a pretty simple guy, and I was able to do it. I think anybody is capable of getting a storage facility under contract.
But did you buy one facility or did you buy 2 facilities?
You always remind me that it's 2 facilities. It was one deal from the same owner, but 2 locations.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's get into how you could put a pic. You want to put a picture up or anything like this, and then you say, how did you? We're going to do find them, fund them, run them. So how did you find them?
All right. So I'm going to try to share my screen here. All right. All right. Does everybody see the warehouses on their screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is my Commerce location. It is 63 units. And how I found it, it's about 15 minutes from my house. So, but I was using Google Maps, and then I'm able to get on the Georgia MLS, and then I go to the CRS from there, which basically brings up owner's information. And I'm sending letters out. And also this particular facility, I sent a letter out in January of 21. My first contact was not till April. And that's when I actually drove to the facility and spoke with the manager, the doorkeeper. I mean, it took me, I probably talked to this lady 8 times, and I mean, she liked to talk. So I finally talked to the owner in August of 21. And then
you just kept like trying to talk to her to get information out.
Yeah, she would not. So basically, she would not give me his information, like his phone number. And if he got a letter in the mail, it went straight to the garbage. And she said he would, anytime he got a letter or anybody called about buying, it was a no. So without me actually going and physically speaking with somebody, he would not have sold.
So you went there and met her, or how did you?
That's correct. This location here, there's an office right here. I actually went in and physically stood in the office and said, hey, would you like to sell? And she's like, well, I'm the manager, but the owner isn't looking to sell at this time. And then maybe 3 weeks later, I would go back in there and talk with her again. And we just built a relationship. I mean, it took time. So honestly,
how often did you go driving for storage? When you
well, so in 2020, that's really when I started finding out about storage, and I actually almost had a $4 million deal under contract. It just fell through. But that facility, I also went driving and spoke with the managers and got in touch with the owner. And then I was probably driving for storage maybe once a month at the time. I mean, I don't have a lot of time to do that. So I do want to share.
Yeah, once a month. Once a month is a good amount of time. Honestly, you don't have to go every weekend. I just went once a month.
So let me see if I can pull this up here. All right. Does everybody see the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is my master spreadsheet when I do Google driving. And I made this up myself. I'm no whiz at spreadsheets, but this is what I came up with. So I got the facility name, the owner, facility address, and if there's an LLC address, when I actually sent the mailers out, and then any notes. So let's go.
And did you have like just a specific area you were interested in, or how did you figure
Georgia,
out what area? Just anywhere in
just
Georgia.
Georgia. Yeah, I would basically highlight cities and then kind of go out from there. And at that point, so like this is my Jackson County notes here. Um, as you can see, this is the one I purchased. I mean, these are my notes. Anytime I talked with them, any information I could get, I was putting notes in there just to build that relationship. All right, trying to move this here. All right, so this is, and then here's my other location here.
Okay,
So
cool. All right, so you
this
found these by driving for
by
storage.
driving. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, this one, it just happened to be 15 minutes from the house, which has been a blessing because just a little background on it. It's the commerce location. This one is probably 20 years old and it was mismanaged very bad. I mean, it's taken a lot of work. It wasn't just hit the ground running, making money. Um, I have, here's my repair list. So I have $17,000 in commerce in repairs so far.
When you were looking to buy this thing, did you have some CapEx already in your mind?
Um,
Thinking.
very little. So I really, honestly, you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't really know what I was looking for because I was brand new at it. And I guess, once you really start digging into it, um, it starts adding up quick. So we've done
The good thing is that
tons.
this is all CapEx, so this is all deductible.
That's
It's just
yeah,
that you have to come out of pocket in the beginning. That's the hard
yes,
part.
yeah, and it's slowing down. Like I said, I bought it in November. It's February. We're getting there. We're finally getting there. So things are starting to even out. Let's see. Throw up some pictures here.
Pull up a couple of pictures of each of the
Yeah.
facilities.
All right. There's my son doing a little storage work there. We're scrubbing
Good.
floors. All right. So this is the Maysville location. We've recently just did all the gravel and grading. Luckily, I know a great grader. And then so I was able to save some money. We did grade and do gravel everywhere. Oh, okay. Here we go. So here's the leases. And this little box right here, that had customer information in it. And
Oh yeah, tell them about the lady. This is how she managed everything, right?
yeah,
And like
so I
computer.
took a picture of her books. This was her books right here. So there's 135 units total, and this is how she managed it. So when I saw, well, first when I saw the office, and then I saw this is how she was managing, and there was no website, I knew this was the one. Like this is what we're looking for right here. Mismanaged facilities.
Well, and she was paid full time and just sat in that office all the time.
Yes. Yeah. Full time in the office, 5 days a week. All right. Here's a great picture of commerce, mismanaged. Like these trees overgrown for 20 years, probably. All right. There's new gravel at Commerce. I don't think I have too many more. Right here was all grass. We ended up cutting in gravel. Just more pictures of Commerce. All right, so this right here, I'm really working on automating things. So basically what I do is when I clean a unit out, I have a cylinder style lock. When I clean a unit out, I put the cylinder style lock in the unit. And then if you see this blue combination lock, I put that on the outside. And I'm using StoreEdge right now as my software. And whenever somebody rents a unit, it automatically sends them a combination to that blue lock. And I don't have to do anything face to face anymore. Everything can be done remotely. and that is the way to go for that. If you got any questions while I'm talking, please ask. That's just a lot of the water it was holding. Okay, so right here,
Question.
go ahead.
So you built a relationship with this lady, and I'm guessing you fired her because you have your software and you don't need her. Like, how did that go?
Okay, so that was really hard. A lot of times talking with Stacy about it. I didn't actually fire her. I was actually going to keep her. She was 85 years old. Never had used a computer before, and I did not want to let her go because I felt like I owed her something because essentially, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have this deal. We actually couldn't come to terms on payment. She wanted more money than what she was getting paid, but she couldn't use a computer. And there was no way for this business to function without that. So she ended up just basically quitting.
Which is good.
It-
Because I was telling
was
him,
great.
you cannot keep this lady. You cannot keep her. And it's like, I can't fire her.
Yeah, I had a very hard time with that. It worked out for the best, honestly. Like, if you end up purchasing a facility with a manager that's like this, they're not going to work out. It's
Well, there's
not-
no reason to have a full-time person for 135 units.
No, because honestly, the last week of the month and the first week of the month are for me the busiest times. Like right now, it's the 15th. I may get 1 or 2 phone calls a day. There's no reason for a manager to be sitting up there. There's nothing for her to do. So for my facility, anyway. We had some floods in a couple units, ended up having to cut a big drain line in here to keep water from going into these units. So this was some stuff that he didn't tell me about, unforeseen. Put weather stripping in on all the new units. Just some more grading. All right, so let's go into how I funded it. Anybody got any other questions so far?
Tell us how you funded it.
Okay, so it was 135 units total, and he wanted $750,000 for it. He was willing to owner finance.
How much was he making? What's the income?
Okay, yeah, so he was making $6,500 a month total. And you want me to tell you what now I brought the rent rolls up. I just checked today, $11,938. So
Whoa,
I've
that's
almost
crazy.
doubled.
So you doubled the income in the first couple months because you just
Yeah.
bought this in November.
Yeah.
Did anyone leave when you doubled the income?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You've got to have thick skin. It's hard to do if you're a nice person, because it doesn't matter if you're nice or not. I had people cuss me out, yell at me. I mean, I had people with 4 units paying $100 a month. So they literally went from $100 to $400 a month. They were mad.
Yeah, see, this was severely managed. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we buy too. Yeah. So you are going to get people that come in and just like bitch and complain, and then they're going to go on Google and they're going to put some bad reviews for you and stuff like that. You know, we get this. I mean, in the last 90 days, we bought 350 units, and we've had, I think, like 3 or 4 different, like on each of the facilities, we've had like 1 or 2 like bad reviews or whatever. And exactly the reason why is because of this. Like, we're coming in and cleaning these things up and doubling, if not tripling, their monthly income, and they're just complaining and it's just horrible, you know. But after the first couple months, it's, you know, it gets easier, right?
It does. Yeah, it does. And you start weeding out the bad tenants anyway. So if I had to do anything different again, I wouldn't hesitate on raising my prices. And I did all of them at one time.
How long did it take you to raise the prices? Because you just bought these in November. So how did that
Okay,
go?
January is when I raised my prices. And I just talked to a tenant for the first time this week. Like there's still a few stragglers. I mean, I overlocked their unit. I had no information on them. And I was like, well, maybe they'll come by. But one reason I'm able to do this, I'll kind of get to the deal. So it was $750,000. The deal I worked out with him, he wanted $100,000 down. Well, I didn't have $100,000. So I went to, I just networking, lucked out. I had a private investor, was able to give me $100,000 for the down payment. So $100,000 down, $750,000. It was he wanted 3% interest for 14 years. So that does eat into my cash flow a little bit because it's not on a balloon payment. He would not do a balloon payment. He didn't like the idea of it. It scared him. So we're at 14 years. But
what is that? It was 650,000 at 3% interest is what? Like, what's your mortgage?
Here we go. It's roughly $5,000 a month.
Okay, so you pay $5,000 a month, but in 14 years, you'll have both of these things paid off.
That's correct. Yeah, and I can refinance at any time. There's no prepayment penalty. So he wanted it to where I couldn't pay it off for 14 years, but the lawyer I had, luckily, she was like, hey, really, he can't do that to you. So I can refinance if I want to. But the sweet part about this deal, because it was so mismanaged, I talked him into no payments for the first year. So with that being said, I'm almost able to pay my private lender off year one. And that gave me plenty of time to get this facility properly managed, get everything shined up, cleaned up, rents raised, without worrying about payment day one.
Yeah, and this owner was adamant on owner financing, right?
That's correct. He did not want to take the tax hit. He was afraid of paying he did not want that lump sum paying taxes on it. So that really worked out to my benefit there.
So essentially in the first couple months, I mean, actually for the first year, the money that you make is going, how much do you have to pay the $100,000?
Okay. So it's broken up into 3 years. So into year one, I owe them $70,000.
Oh, so you don't have to pay anything until year one though.
Until
nothing.
Okay.
So you're making $11,000 a month and you're just like have expenses and that's it right now.
That's correct.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I got 3% interest year one from them. End of year two is $20,000 at 5% interest, and then into year three, I finished paying them off at $16,000 at they get a 10% return. So
cool.
It was very creative. Creative financing is the way to go if you can. And I mean, the sky's the limit on that if you've never done that. Whatever you can imagine. And get them to agree.
I'm curious, is that you staggered out your down payment for 3 years?
Yeah, because I knew roughly what I could make in a year on this facility, and I didn't want to have to pay them $100,000 plus interest year one. This way it's staggered out. I can still make money for 3 years and pay them back and pay my this $650,000 down too. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this is definitely thinking outside the box. And what's so awesome about this deal is that you can, if you go out and find another facility, you can always go to a bank and get a loan. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not over leveraging you at all. So, you know, you really based it off of the income that you're making. So just as long as you save that money, you're only paying expenses. You're not going out and buying a Lamborghini or something with the extra money that you have.
I mean, for me personally, I'm stacking cash because I want to get that. If I can pay that $100,000 off year one, that way I can cash flow year two, roughly about 4,000 a month will be my cash flow on it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think just pay that 100 grand off as much as you possibly can. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm a little confused.
Okay.
Did you take out the 100,000 loan?
No.
So you just have that lender give you part of that on year one.
It was a different lender. I have two separate loans, not from a bank though, from private people.
And what are the amounts of the two separate loans?
650,000. Well, excuse me. The original deal was $750,000. And that was that's owner financing from the previous owner of the facility. Okay. And then I have another lender, private lender, for $100,000.
Yeah, and so that private lender who's lent $100,000, you have that $100,000 from day one, right?
That's correct, but I don't make a payment on that 100,000 till the end of year one.
Yeah, but does that mean that the $100,000 you've passed that on to the owner immediately, or?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, that was my down payment.
Okay, and so then what was the part about paying off the $100,000 in chunks?
Okay, that was from the $100,000 from the other lender. I've got 3 years to pay that off.
Okay. But you're planning to pay it all off in the first year?
If I can, yes.
Okay, and then you said that it's broken up into 3 years with different interest rates?
That's correct. Yep.
So what is the first year and second year and third year?
Okay, first year is 3% interest.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes up from there. So first year's 3%, second year's 5%, and then my third year is 10%.
Okay, so whatever portion is not paid for the second year would accrue interest at 5%, and then
That's correct.
whatever's not paid at 10%. Okay.
Yeah.
And beyond the third year, if you still had part of it, would it still be at 10%?
Yes.
But do you have to pay it off by 3 years? That's the agreement?
That was what we agreed upon. If it doesn't happen, we'll work on it then.
Yeah, but it should happen. I mean, you're almost.
Yeah.
Well, but the incentive is to pay it off in the first year, so you only pay the 3% on it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Cool. All right, so find them, fund them, run them.
Okay, so I'm an owner operator. Because it's so close to the house and I'm hands-on, I'm doing a lot more of the work than I would like to, but in order to save money, I need to do that. So I'm using StoreEdge as my software. I've got Guy. I'm sure some of y'all have heard about him. He did my website and SEO work. We have 2 people answering the phones. Like I said, the end of the month, beginning of the month are the busiest times answering the phone. What my plans are is to get someone else to answer the phones at some point. Hopefully I can pay somebody to do that. And then also have a boots on the ground once things are pretty much stabilized, as somebody to come in and clean units out when somebody moves out.
So to get rid of the people that are answering the phones, and then just have like a regular, like a call center or somebody or something.
Either that, I was talking with Ted and we kind of discussed maybe finding somebody that's like a stay-at-home mom that has some spare time to answer the phones, that wants a couple extra $100 a month.
Yeah, so team up and then get like a VA that you can share with other people. Well, that's a good idea. Y'all should do that. Now, what about auctions?
StorageAuctions.com. I actually had my first one last week. So it went good.
Did you hook that up to StoreEdge?
I did after the fact, after the auction went through. Okay, I figured it out.
So,
yeah.
You can do that, right? Yeah, you can automate it from StoreEdge.
Yeah, it's super easy. Take some pictures of the unit, log it into StorageAuctions.com, and people bid on it. Make sure the day of the auction and then the day after for me were busy because I had to meet them up there. You may not have to meet them up there. I just didn't know of another way to do it. The people who won
Yeah,
the
no,
unit.
we never meet anybody there, so
Okay.
you could probably not meet anybody there. So you can make it as virtual as you possibly want. Now you need somebody to take pictures, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, so our boots on the ground takes pictures, and then Bonnie uploads them to storage auctions, and then from there they just get, like, once they pay for the unit, whoever wins, that we just give them a code to the thing, and then they go and clean it out and do their thing. And then the boots on the ground comes afterwards and checks on the work to make sure they do, because essentially in storageauctions.com, you can rate that buyer. Right. So if they like
Okay.
leave trash or whatever, then you just put like a 1 star and be like, never, don't ever accept anything from this person again. But if they clean it out and take all their trash and do what they're supposed to be doing, then we give them a 5 star, so they can keep doing that. Because the people that bid on storageauctions.com, I mean, they're just running their business. They're coming in, cleaning that thing out, and then going through the stuff and selling all that stuff. Yeah. So make sure that you do rate your buyer.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good. What else? Anything out of the ordinary on management besides just taking calls? What else? Anything that you can think of, or any questions on management from him?
No.
I did have one question about the rates that you raised, Nick.
Okay.
Do you have competition in this town? And if so, did you match their rates?
Okay, so fortunately where I'm at, I have a big competitor, and they're driving the market price. So I looked at their prices, and then I did some secret shopping, call up a storage facility. Hey, I'm looking for a place for my parents. Do you have anything? And just see what their prices are. If some of them have them online. And basically what I did was I tried to stay like 5 to 10% under what everybody else was at. And then my current customers, I went even further, just a little bit under that, because I was raising their rates so high. So for instance, 5x10, he had them for $30 a month. My street rate's $60, and then my current tenants, I had them at $55.
Okay. Thank you.
Just rip the Band-Aid. That's what he says. Rip the Band-Aid, just get it over with, raise the prices. Even if you have to double or triple the prices, you just have to rip that Band-Aid. I know it's scary and hard, but you just say he was making $5-6 grand, and now he's making 11 grand just because he did that. That's awesome.
And this facility here, I don't know if you see the cows in the picture, they actually can come all the way up to my fence here. So it's very out in the country. And my 10x10s here are going for $100 a month.
Now, what about, buying a piece of property right next door and adding on some units?
All right, well, I don't know if I can draw a line here.
No.
All right, so basically from here to here, like this section here is all my property.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I've got close to probably an acre to expand.
Oh my gosh, you need to totally get Jeremy out there to just like at least give you a proposal. Are you full, or how are you doing now?
Yeah, so
how many people moved out, and how are the numbers?
Right now I'm at 84% occupied in Commerce, and that's because I'm currently working on some units that were messed up. And then in Maysville, which is here, I'm 95% occupied. And that's after rent raises.
That's crazy.
There's nowhere for them to go.
Yeah. And you're in an area that is just, I mean, he's in a secondary market that's booming and eventually will become part of the primary market.
Yeah, I'm like this location, there's a main interstate there, that's 85. So I'm only a couple miles from it.
Yeah, that's great. Good deal. Good deal. Awesome. Okay, good. Any final questions or anything for Nick?
Are any of your units climate controlled?
None of them are climate controlled.
Does the market call for in that area maybe? Maybe for your next,
So after I bought the facility, I did find out that the bigger competition is actually they bought, sorry, I'm going to try to pull it up. They bought this whole strip mall here and they're putting climate control. So there's going to be roughly 600
oh,
climate controlled units and it's going in phases. I don't think that's going to hurt me though, because I'll just be a cheaper option for people who don't want climate control.
yeah, just do that. Just do keep non-climate control then. Cool. Okay, good. What else?
Picture of signage that you had with the lockbox, is that something you can post so we can take a look at it?
Sure.
Posted in
And
the Facebook group. Yeah.
I think it is in the Facebook group.
Oh.
That one.
But it's probably further back, but
Oh yeah, so just
got-
search his name then. Just search Nick White
Okay.
and you should be able to find his picture. I remember he posted that at one
I can
point.
repost it. It's from Da Vinci. All of this is from Da Vinci. So the lock box, the lock, and these signs, that's where it's from.
Now we do something like that as well too, but it's like the cheaper version. This is like the nice, beautiful version that looks so good. And then you see ours. Actually, what we do is we do a chain. And we put a chain up and then we just have them put their lock on the chain is what we do. So because Da Vinci is expensive.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
For 20 locks, several signs, and 2
The locks are
boxes.
$15 each.
Are they? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can buy that lock for $6. So, but okay. All right, cool, good, awesome, great job, Nick. Great facility, congratulations. And like I said, the first 90 days are nuts, right? But now you're
Oh,
starting
yeah.
to breathe a little bit.
I can breathe now. Mhm.
Now you're gonna get out and start looking for another one?
I am. Probably, I'd say probably about 2 more months and I'm going to start back.
Okay, cool. Okay.